let Marion go.
In your dreams.
That's all you got, huh?
You're gonna have to take care of all of us first.
Let's do this.
Gersonzero here, and welcome to the review show of the internet that tells you if a game is worth collecting, emulating, or just watching a YouTube walkthrough. And I just can't believe that this was announced. Double Dragon 4 for the PlayStation 4 and PC. And I decided to stray a little bit from my Final Fantasy 15 review, which is still coming, by the way, right, K-Dash?
This was not my doing.
So, I just wanted to go ahead and take a look back at the first 3 Double Dragon games for the NES.
Double Dragon was released for the arcade in 1987. Considering the year released, it introduced features common in most, if not all, beat-em-ups today, such as weapon pickups and simultaneous 2-player co-op. With the cabinet bringing success to Technos Japan, the developers, the home console version followed in 1988. Ported to the NES by Trade West, many changes were made to accommodate hardware limitations, like the lack of simultaneous 2-player co-op. I keep saying simultaneous co-op because although they decided to add a 2-player mode, it was nothing like its arcade counterparts. Here, you take turns after either player falls. On-screen sprite limitation really highlighted the gap in power between the NES and arcade versions too. Not to take away from the legacy of this port because it sold immensely well. Also, with less sprites on screen and smaller in size by comparison, slowdown was barely an issue, if at all. So I guess it can be argued that the home console conversion was a superior product.
Now, I can't speak for the Sega Master System version, but I did hear the co-op remains intact unlike the NES version, which is the version we're looking at today. In fact, I think that's the version everyone played as a kid. I don't know anyone who owned the Sega Master System version. Hey K-Dash, pull up one of those NES carts on eBay. How much is it worth today anyway in the year 3120?
According to the seller, over $10,000.
What?
In Double Dragon, you take control of Billy Lee and... oh yeah, I forgot. This version of the game only has Billy playable.
You guys are no match for the Double Dragons. Jimmy, let's do this. Jimmy, come on. Jimmy!
His girlfriend Marion was kidnapped by the Black Warriors, and the only way to save her is marching to the boss's office and beat the living crap out of everyone affiliated with the gang. You're literally walking down the hood, passing through Smokey the Bear's block, dodging cave-ins, and infiltrating the Illuminati's hideouts, all while punching people in the throat, elbowing foreheads, and kicking people's spleens. There's 4 stages. And although that doesn't sound like much, thanks to the game's hardcore difficulty, you will not be completing this game on your first run. I haven't played this entry in the series since the early 90s, and for this review it took me roughly about 3 hours to beat this 25-minute game. Allow me to get in depth with how the mechanics work. Since this is the NES control, there's only 2 buttons to work with, each performing numerous moves. Pressing kick will perform a standard kick combo when tapped repeatedly, and the punch button executes a fist combo. Now pressing both will allow Billy to jump. That's it. Where the numerous moves I spoke of come into play is through the technical leveling system. This isn't shorts, the experience points you gain by defeating foes. Every 1000 XP or so, you'll get a new skill. Skills cap at 7 technical points. A heart will appear on the bottom screen indicating your technical level. Some of the moves you'll unlock are elbow strikes, a hair pull grapple, uppercuts, and a leaping kick. Most of these attacks are performed automatically, as they simply act as advanced versions of the existing movesets. like the leaping strike. Normally, hitting punch and kick allows Billy to jump, but with the jumping kick obtained, it will replace the jump command. Honestly, not all are useful. Some actually put you at risk of dying. A lot of skills leave you vulnerable. What comes to mind is the spin kick. Sure, it's strong, but the startup animation is so long you risk the chance of getting hit. In later stages, that means death. Another are punches. Do yourself a favor and never punch. Like ever. The standard punch is not only slow, but worse, has a shorter range than kick. Get used to spamming kick. When you're pressing kick, make sure you're mashing it quickly. The reason why is because speed is essential during any given combo. The enemies you'll go toe to toe with will trade blows if you don't mash that attack button fast enough. Any moment you're pausing between button pushes will give the opponent an opening to strike you. It may be brief and not seem like much at first, but every bit of health counts in this game. Trading blows with the standard grunts is one thing, but the bosses? Trade blows with Ababo just once, and well, just reset the game, because there's only one freaking continue in this game. One continue. There's no way to earn additional lives, so guess what? The lives you start with on stage 1 is what you get forever. This is where the game becomes a test of patience, skill, cheese, and a little luck. Once you realize you have 3 lives to work through all 4 stages, is when getting hit a few times is not acceptable. As a kid, I took turns playing the game with my friend Christopher Charleston, and the caverns in stage 3 made us cry. Like, actually cry. Tears and all.
Marion! Where the hell am I? How did I end up here?
After reaching the final stage, dying and being greeted by the title screen triggered my inner cheater. Now imagine a pre-internet age where no cheats exist, playing a punishment-serving game like this. You will take anything you can get to win. The 30 minutes wasted getting to the a-hole with the gun and dying scarred every child who owned this cartridge. This is possibly the first game I recall that requires you to cheat to win. If you don't take advantage of not only the glitches, but cheap tactics to serve beatdowns on everyone, then guess what? You're just asking for the game over screen again. You want to win? Follow these steps. Step 1, get used to the distance of your kick. Learning enemy hitboxes is essential. Mash that kick and let enemies come to you. You will never face more than 2 enemies at a time due to the sprite limitation I talked about briefly, so keeping them away from each other is vital. Step 2, get all your skills on stage 2. Learn the invisible enemy exploit, and you won't have to worry about how much XP you need to learn the next ability. Step 3. Inch your way through the game. Don't rush, and every chance you get, throw anyone, if not everyone, off available ledges. The final step, don't let enemies use any weapon on you. Get hit once with a knife or even worse, a grenade, hit that reset button. The amount of life lost is insane, especially in the latter stages. Weapon pickups are dropped by foes and have a limited window to get the job done. If it's not a crate or barrel, then you are required to disarm the weapon from any given foe. After that, all that's left is luck and judgment on your part. Now, Double Dragon is a lot of fun, highly difficult, but honestly the challenge is the reason it's so addicting. Sure, there's about 4 stages, but the variety is something to compliment. I never felt like the stages were boring. It's Speaking of stages, did I mention how horrible the platforming sections are? For some reason, this game included platforming towards the end, and even worse, environmental hazards. The cave has spikes dropping at a random rate, rather than a pattern to learn, which means if hit, well, brace yourself for a possible restart. I found myself panicking and double tapping right, and inadvertently headbutting myself to the game over screen. That's what I meant when I said your own moveset puts you at risk. The final stage is the worst offender. Definitely the most unforgiving stage, with tons of platforms and some walls that pop out at you, dealing tons of freaking damage. Who made this hideout? Oh, I forgot. It's the Illuminati's headquarters. What's odd, and this isn't really a spoiler because it's in the manual, the leader of the gang who kidnapped Billy's girlfriend is your very own brother. Here, I thought the a-hole with the gun was the leader, but nope, he's just the muscle, I guess. Or, in this, the gun.
Who brings a gun to a fist fight and loses?
So you defeated my men. I am the true leader.
Who the hell are you?
You wanna know who I am?
I'm your brother! It can't be! It just can't be! Why?
I didn't understand why they were fighting, but apparently it was changed from the arcade version, in which you fight for her love? Here it was changed to have Jimmy Lee appear as the true Shadow Master. Something you'll see in the cartoon series released later in the 90s. If you're not in cheese mode, then get ready to get sprayed a lot. Getting shot by this dude will more than likely cause an instant death. Luckily, I'm always ready for these events. After beating the heck out of Jimmy, you will free the damsel in distress, go home, and receive a nice kiss on the cheek. Cool, right?
So there you have it, guys, my review or rant on Double Dragon 1 on the NES. Now it's time to get into my rating system. The rating system that I use when I play these retro games, based on 3 questions I ask myself. Is the game worth collecting, emulating, or just watching a YouTube walkthrough?
Collect! Okay, I know it's hard to recommend playing this, but like I said earlier, it's a lot of fun. It's pretty short and gives a good representation to what was considered NES hard. A difficulty worthy of its name. Resets will be common, and if you don't mind mastering your fighting technique, then knocking out goons and eventually conquering all 4 stages is an accomplishment worth seeking out. Once you beat this game, it's safe to say you will feel like a dragon. Just remember that rage quits will happen from time to time.
So now that I'm done looking at the first entry in this awesome series, it's time to look at its sequel. The sequel that not only improved the overall game, but elevated it to be my personal favorite beat-em-up game of all time. Tune in next time when we look at Double Dragon 2: The Revenge.